one thing that we wanted to kind of touch on before we wrap up is we've been getting some deals from wholesalers. And
oh my God.
And my goodness.
We had a first yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday was our first.
Oh my God. Been in this for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So I got a deal from
and we've seen hundreds of houses.
I mean, yeah, some really trash, nasty houses. This one, the house was trash. And it wasn't, this happened to us because the house was gross. So basically what happened is the first time like we've ever walked in a house and made it 10 foot into the house and turned around and just walked right back out. And it wasn't because the house was nasty. It was. But it was one of those that we got the picture. I got the wholesale deal. And what was it? They wanted 80 grand for the house. Mm-hmm. And he put 35 grand in repairs. I know, never trust those. Go ahead and just double it. Looked at the ARV and I was interested in what I saw in the photos. And they said, oh, well, it's got this extra unit in the garage that you could convert into an extra rental property. And that's what I was interested in for it. And we walked up to the house. In the front of the house, okay, not that bad. I see some wood rot, some extra stuff, not that big a deal. But my God, the second we walked into that house, it just like, no. The smoke damage was the worst I'd ever seen. Yeah. From smoker damage. I mean, that stuff, it was the point where like we've dealt with some smoker damage house. We've sprayed the walls, cleaned them up, repainted them, and we've been just fine. This house, I don't think that would work. I mean, it looked like a layer of paint was on the wall. So much nicotine was on the walls. It looked like a layer of the sheetrock was peeling off the wall. And like paint was peeling off the walls because of the nicotine damage onto it. Like, you have to gut this entire house. And the extra little unit we were interested in, dude, the building just looked dilapidated and run down. Where it's like, I could scrape it and rebuild it.
That was essentially why we walked out, because we walk in. I mean, we barely got past the kitchen. This is not an exaggeration. Seriously, we took maybe 5 steps in the house. I looked around. I looked at John. He's like, nope. I'm like, nope. Because it was at this point, 1,000 square foot home. We're like, we got to tear it down to the studs. At that point, you might as well just tear the whole house down and build a brand new home. You know, and this guy wants 80 grand with 30 grand in repairs.
Well, even then, but that's where I said, like, we've been running into this aspect a lot to where we walk out because we know you don't have the contract that low.
No.
It's like usually like, okay, wholesaler, even if he's got some massive $20,000 wholesale spread on this thing, it's like, that's still 60 grand that you have it under contract for. Like, dude, I'm going to offer you land value. Yeah. Like if we bought the house, we were just going to scrape the house and rebuild something there because it was in such poor condition. Yep. And I know they don't have it at that value. That happened earlier this week too, where we walked a house and it's like, dude, your repairs are so far off. And what I have to offer you is...
At least they were off by like double the amount.
Yeah, double, not triple. Well, yeah, these guys, I mean, 35 grand, it's like, dude, I'm tearing this house down and rebuilding. Your $35,000 budget, it's like, yeah, I'll make that 150 because we got to rebuild this house.
Like, we were looking at it. We're like, okay, let's play a game here. Let's say you have 35 grand on this house with the little unit in the back. What can you put 35 grand to at least get somebody in the house? Like, even if you were to paint the walls, I don't even know if paint would stick on those walls. You understand? Like, you would have to kill. You would have to do a lot of shit. Then the foundation was jacked. It had no AC. I mean, I'm sure it has a ton of plumbing and electrical issues. Yeah. I was like, there's just no way you can do it. And no way in hell you can do it for 30 grand. And I don't care what magical contractors you have. Like, just a material alone, you're probably going to...
Adding an air conditioner on 1,000 square foot house, a whole new system. Yeah. You got to frame it out, build it. You're probably looking at spending $6,000, $7,000, just $8,000 just in that alone. And then that didn't even... It was terrible. And then just like to be like... Yeah. We turned around and walked right back out.
We have Traps here. He says, he or she, I don't know, Traps. They all want too much. That he says having no luck with wholesaler, and it's like, I don't even think that they want too much. I don't think it's that. I don't think that the wholesalers are saying, I want 30 grand profit or anything like that. My issue and what we're trying to stress the point here is that you are not negotiating correctly. Yeah. You are not understanding what a deal looks like. You don't know what a deal looks like. You're guesstimating on repairs. You're guesstimating on all these things, and I don't even know where the hell you're pulling these guesses from, because you're not off by like 5 or 10 grand. You are off by, in the first house that we went to see, you were off by like damn near 100 grand.
It's terrible. It's like they get it under contract just for whatever they want. I just want to get a contract. Like, well, I'll sell it to you at 70. All right, we'll contract that. And then where they They know that they're actually getting, a lot of people are getting better on the values, the ARVs.
The ARVs. Well,
yeah, but then all they do is like, well, we're just going to lessen the repairs to where it looks like there's a good amount of spread there. It's like, dude, that doesn't work. And I think what it is like, for far too long, you've had the market bailing people out.
Yeah.
On the in-buy, on the sell to the retail market. So now you have a lot of people entering the market that is incentivizing these wholesalers to still get these deals done or to push them. So we're like, well, we'll just get it or whatever, and somebody's going to want it so bad. Yeah. There's so many people that don't know what they're doing in real estate and buying these things that they can get them sold. And that it incentivizes this terrible negotiating tactics of just like get it on a contract for whatever it is, sell it to whoever sells the best, and be done with it.
Yeah, well, and one thing that I always tell wholesalers, and Trap says, I wish I could go with you guys when you check out houses. Well, if you live in San Antonio, I'm more than happy to let anybody tag along when we check out houses. I have no issues.
You just got to realize it might be like, hey, I'm heading to a house right now. I'm going to be there in 30 minutes and I'm only going to be there for 10. Like it's not.
We don't waste time. We don't schedule out weeks or anything like that. To us, is if a deal makes sense, we are there within the next 5 minutes. So, reach out to me, shoot me an email at John@PrimeHomes, JON. If you put an H, you'll get the other John, but you'll get one of us. We're more than happy with whenever we go look at a property to bring you guys along. We did a walkthrough that our videographer Dre walked with me, and I wish it would have been better, but the wholesaler brings me the deal. He says, just a heads up, it's a hoarder house.
Huh.
That was a pretty good one. This is the understatement of the year when I walked into the house. I've been in hoarder houses. We've been in we bought a house that was 1,200 square foot, and we got like 4 40-yard dumpsters just to clear out their crap. And that doesn't include the 2 10-by-10 storage units of their stuff that they actually took with them.
Yeah.
So you can imagine a 1,200 square foot house. That's a tiny home. There was a lot of crap in there. So I'm used to going through hoarder homes. This house didn't have a ceiling. Literally, the ceiling was on the floor. The insulation was on the floor.
No, it wasn't on the floor. It was on top of all the stuff that was quote unquote the hoarder house.
Which, if the ceiling would have still been up, it probably wasn't that bad of a hoarder house because the actual stuff there wasn't that bad.
That kitchen was pretty bad. There was no. Usually hoarder houses have a walking
it seems like
path.
Somebody ransacked it, like went through and like started just
trashing everything.
Yeah, trashing things because it was just cabinets were torn open. But I'm walking through this house. Man, what did he say the repairs were? I want to say they were somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 70 grand, 60 grand. I don't think the wholesaler even walked the property. That's another thing that pisses me off, where it's like they're not even walking the property, and they're sending it to me with repairs and all this. At least tell me, look, hey, here's the stuff that I've gotten. I actually haven't walked the property. I'm fine with that. Let me know. You understand? Because in that way, I know it's like...
Well, like Chris and Vest puts in here, it's almost better if they don't even provide a rehab estimate.
I
agree, but it's also like, if you're going to do that, provide good pictures. Don't give me, here's 6 pictures of the house. And
they're always the best ones.
Yeah, and then it's like, they're just trying to incentivize, well, why just got to get people to the house? Like, dude, they just pissed me off when you do that, because now I just wasted my time to go over and look, like yesterday, just walked in, trying to walk right back out, 30 minutes, 45 minutes of our day just gone like that. Yep. And it just like, it builds no reputation as you as a name and you as a business, to where like, I'm going to remember that stuff. It does build
a reputation that next time you send me a deal, I'm going to probably second guess and shoot you a lowball offer before I even leave my office.
Yeah.
Because where I do like, Chris, to your point, an actual repair estimate or a repair bid from them is I like to know if they send me the repair bid and they send me enough pictures that I can kind of gauge. I can see if you're already way off on the repair, and then I can see if it's like, well, you want 80, and I know just based on these pictures, I'm in the 50 neighborhood. So if there's no dialogue there in 50, then I'm not even bothering going out.
Yeah, right? Just like when I first called that guy the other day, it's like, hey, I want to go see that. The day he sent it out on the email out blasting it, I put it out. I was like, all right, numbers look good. I call him and it's like, hey, I'm interested. Like, when can we go see the house? He goes, well, I had a key to the front door, but then a deadbolt got locked, so I'm waiting to get a key to the back door. So I got to get that figured out before I can get people in the house. Like, okay. He's like, but I just want to let you know that I've generated a lot of interest at that $80,000 price point. So I don't want you to waste your time without seeing the house and stuff if the 80's not going to work. I was like, you just told me you didn't have access to the house, but you're saying that you got plenty of interest at the 80 grand. After walking the house, I feel bad for whoever. If somebody buys that thing for 80 grand, it's like, I don't know what you're going to do with it.
It's like we talk about. It's their antiquated sales tactics, or what they think is a sales tactic, to make it seem more interesting. Like the other wholesaler that he tells us, and this we've heard it so much that every time somebody tells us this, we kind of like, all right, yeah, okay, you're not.
You and the other 25 wholesalers.
Like, he tells us, it's just that I'm flooded with deals. I have too much going on right now. But if I need to, I will take it down. I'll take it down and I'll buy it myself, and I'll just do
it. If I can't get the price that I'm trying to get right now, this 75 grand, like I'll just take it down and do it myself.
And usually what that means is that you are trying to make me feel like, oh shit, this is a really good deal, because if not, why would he buy it, right? Yeah. So if I'm an inexperienced investor, because if you're looking at it that way, you are an inexperienced investor. You understand? Because to me, I have too many deals. Okay.
Well, then it's one of those things like it's just
who turns down deals when they have
once you get experience and you go to enough houses and see these things, it's like if you were an experienced investor, you would not be that far off on the rehab.
Yeah.
And you would be and if it was a true thing that like, hey, I don't have enough, and you do want to sell the thing, you're going to sell it toward, there's margin on the game. Yeah. And you are going to try to wholesale it and actually be truthful with it, but like, it was like word for word, the way he went into it. I'm like, I have heard this like 50 times from like 15 different, like 20, 30 different wholesalers of like, I'd take it down myself, but I'm just too busy to where if I don't get the price that I'm asking today, I'll just take it down and do it myself. I mean, like verbatim, word for word, it's exactly what they all say. And it just like, no, you're not. You're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling me.
I'd rather you even say, because this is something I've said, but we haven't wholesaled in quite some time because we do pick up our properties, but I have said where it's like, look, honestly, the numbers are tight for me. They're not something that, I don't have the contractors low enough to make this make sense. Yeah. I don't have the money cheap enough to make this make sense for me. The margins are too tight. I'm willing to just pass this off to somebody that can get this done.
Well, and that's also like, that's how we would handle it. Not to say that he wasn't being truthful, but it just 9 out of 10 times and direct experience, like, that is not the case. So now if everybody else is saying that, you need to quit saying that, because now I'm lumping you in with all the other people that are just trashy wholesalers, don't know what they're doing.
This is not just to trash wholesalers, all right? There's an actual solution to all of this. This solution is when you don't know how to determine repairs, when you don't know how to understand if it's a deal, reach out to a potential buyer that is a real buyer, not another wholesaler, an actual buyer. Wholesalers do not understand repairs, all right? And this is not a knock on wholesalers, just that you haven't renovated a house. You don't understand what it means when you have to open up a wall, or when you have to move something, or when you have foundation issues where the kitchen is. You haven't been through it, right? So it's not a knock on you guys. It's just to let you know. Get an investor that would buy that house and tell them, hey, I'm going to check out this house in this neighborhood. I know you're interested. Would you mind walking it with me and letting me know what you think, right? Because then they can walk with you. That's how I learned. Honestly, I grew up in construction, but as a contractor, I know how to do the job, not what job needs to be done. So I would go in and bid out, I need to replace the trim. I need to replace all the stuff. And when I started walking with investors, they're like, no, not this neighborhood. You paint the trim. No, you keep the cabinets. No, you leave the floor. You understand stuff that I didn't know as a contractor. So not walking it with your contractor. You need to walk it with an investor that will buy the property. So then that way that investor can tell you, okay, based on this house, you have these issues, these issues, these issues. This is what I'm looking at. Ask questions. Not just ask, how much is the repair? No, why? What are you repairing? Because there's a lot of times, this also happens, that you have investors that are going to repair things that other investors wouldn't repair. And you have vice versa, right? The ones that wouldn't repair things that we probably would repair. So you got to make sure you ask them, what are you touching? Why are you touching it? How much is that costing you? What are you projecting? Because then that becomes, and it makes you a much better wholesaler. And that's what helped us. That's how we grew our business. That's how we were able to scale to this point and become great wholesalers, because we kept asking our buyers. You know, whenever they say, no, I'm not buying it. Well, why? Why are you not buying it? Well, here's the repairs. Here's what I'm looking at. Here's what I'm like, oh shit, you know what? You're right. I didn't look at those things. Now I adjusted my bid the next house I went to. And then it got to a point where I was able to nail down repair budgets very, very tightly, to a point where, you know, where would it be different is it depends on who your contractors were. And if you were, you know, maybe getting a GC versus subbing it out. But those were little things, not things like to this point where one house, they were off on the repair budget by like damn near $80,000 to $100,000, and the other one, they were just, the house needed to be scrapped because of what the values were. So it's like, you weren't off by 5 or 10 grand. You were off by the price of a whole other house. Like, I mean, you were off by a ton of money. Now you can't go back to that homeowner and say, you know, hey, it's easier to renegotiate 5 or 10 grand. It's very hard to renegotiate $100,000. You understand? Especially when the house is worth.
Or you need to give it to me for free.
Or you need to pay me. I mean,
one yesterday, it's like, dude, this thing is destroyed. Like, I want land value.
Yeah. So that is really, you know, our advice to you guys. And I hope that makes sense. I hope that's something that can resonate. And if you're not sure as a wholesaler and you're going to these houses and you're saying, you know, hey, I don't understand how to price this out. I don't understand. Is this really a deal? Ask a local investor that you know is a buyer to go with you. Us as buyers, we are more than happy to go with you at that point, because you haven't gotten on the contract. We can help. We can make sure that you get it at the right price. And I want you to make money, because I want you to keep bringing me more deals. You understand? Because I can't do that work. So I'd rather train you and show you everything so you can just start bringing contracts at the prices that make sense. But these prices are just astronomical. These people are off by tens of thousands of dollars on the repairs of these properties. You're killing it. You're hurting sellers. And if you happen to scam a buyer into it, that's exactly what you're doing. You're scamming somebody into it. So you could have said before, I didn't know any better, and that's a perfect excuse, but you do know now. Well, if you're listening to this, you know better.
It's just rampant across the industry now at this point. Like, everybody's doing all the exact same thing, because, like, I mean, the wholesalers, like, they're not finding deals, and they're finding whatever contract they have and just trying to scrape by. And I mean, I guess that's part of the capitalistic market, to where eventually they are going to go out of business and they're going to have to go do something else. Yeah. Because it's like, it just doesn't work. They can't make the money at it, and because it's just not there.